The coronation service will be enacted a little bit sooner than that and in full today at Truro Cathedral by children, because young people from St Maur's have been rehearsing for the ceremony, which was first performed in the village 10 years ago. Yvonne Fuller is the producer, and I went along to Truro Cathedral to find out more.
Well, we go back to the time of the Golden Jubilee, and I come from St Maur's. We have a well-known journalist in St Maur's called William Shawcross, who 11 years ago, produced a series about the life of the Queen for the BBC television. And he said, I hope this village is going to do something really good. So this thought slipped into the back of my mind, and a village meeting was called. And wonderfully, it was half real Cornish people and half keen incomers like myself. So about 30 people turned up. Brilliant. And I do not know why to this day, but I said, I think we ought to have a gold state coach. It could be pulled by people, which was a stroke of genius, because then it is no more serious than a wheelbarrow and you can walk it in the road and nobody worries.
So you actually have the gold state coach?
We made a gold state coach, and then I worked with the children to explain what the coronation was, the significance of it, because it explains completely all the things that the Queen promised to do and which all these years later she has done. Amazing. And so I worked with the children, taught them all about it, began making the things, and I said, well, look, if we have all the things, the children know what it's about, why don't we do the coronation? And we did.
Wonderful. And it's become quite an institution, quite a legend in St Maur's, hasn't it? But this year, to mark the 60th anniversary of the Queen's coronation, you've actually been invited to perform it in Truro Cathedral.
Yes, we did. 10 years ago, we did the one performance, and we tried to have an exhibition in the cathedral, but there was not that much interest then. This time, everything has changed. The Queen is infinitely more appreciated, thank goodness. And when we suggested it, Lady Mary Holborough has always come, and she was Lord Lieutenant, and she's now our patron. So she contacted the cathedral and said, what do you think about this? These children have done this amazing thing. How about it in the cathedral? And they said, yes, what a wonderful idea. And
so what form will it take then, Yvonne?
Well, the ceremony is exactly the same. We have a few more prayers because in the cathedral that is more appropriate. We do everything of the ceremony except the private Holy Communion, which was never appropriate for children to do and not the right sort of thing for a reenactment. But they go through all the items. The Queen comes in, she has to be recognised, is this the right person? Then she has to take an oath, very serious promises she makes, which she has kept. And then once she has signed the oath and sworn on the Bible and is given a Bible, she then is anointed, and that is the most holy part, and her elaborate robe is removed and her beautiful dress is covered in a plain white dress, very simple, and she goes for the first time into the great old wooden chair, 900-year-old King Edward's chair, and a canopy is brought to conceal her for this private moment of the anointing, and then the bishops gather round and they bless her and anoint her, and then they move aside, and then she stands, and her plain white dress is removed, another plain white dress even smaller is put on, then a golden coat, and then a cloak eventually, and at each stage she receives more regalia, and she is dressed as the king. She's not a queen with a husband who is the king. She is the king in her one person, and that's quite difficult to get your head round. But she's dressed in manly garments, and she's given a sword, and she has to defend widows and orphans and wonderful things.
That's absolutely amazing. It really is. It's going to be quite an occasion here at Truro Cathedral, and also a big responsibility for all the children, but particularly for the girl playing the Queen.
Well, I think she's 11 this year. She was the understudy last year, which she did with great grace, and she did a small performance as a thank you later on, which she did beautifully, and I had no qualms that she would be just the one to carry this much more onerous version here, because in the setting with the real choir and the organ and a large congregation, it's going to be very impressive.
It really will. Are you going to have the hymns as well that would have been sung at the coronation?
There was only one hymn at the suggestion of Ralph Vaughan Williams, which was All People That On Earth Do Dwell. And once the Queen has been crowned, and then she has to come down off her chair and go back up onto her throne, which is a different seat altogether. Then she's paid homage by the priest and then her husband and various peers. Then she stands and she pays for the coronation with a gift of a gold ingot and an altar cloth, and then she slowly comes down and leaves, and at that point all people that on earth do dwell is sung by the whole congregation, and she comes into recess, as they call it, and all her clothes are changed again, and all the gold is removed. She never wears the crown again that she was crowned with, but she wears the fantastic imperial state crown, which is very glamorous, and a purple robe, and then she will reappear right by the real high altar, and there will be a procession slowly right down the nave with everybody to the west door, which might last 10 minutes if they do it slowly enough. I hope they do.
And presumably everybody is invited to this.
Absolutely everybody who has one glimmer of interest, please come. It's a free event, and anybody who loves the idea of having a monarchy and our history and everything, this is the nearest you will ever see to what happened in 1953.
What time does it start?
The actual ceremony will begin at 4 in place of evensong, but before that there will be a procession around High Cross with the Golden Coach and the City of Truro Pipes and Drums Band, who have volunteered their services to make this all the more glorious. So that will be happening soon after 3:30. So come 3:15, come early to get your seat. Nothing is reserved, only the people who are actually the mums and dads nearer the front and the big wigs. But please come, bring all your children, all ages. This will appeal to people from 4 to 104.
And I know you've put in so much effort along with the children. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much.
Oh, lovely. Yvonne Fuller there, who's put in so much work, I must tell you, for the children's coronation. And she said she'd love to see as many of you as possible there this afternoon. So if you get there at about 3, I think she said, or 3:15, and then you'll be able to see the gold state coach arrive. Then the children going in, they look gorgeous, actually, in all their finery, processing in, and very self-contained they were as well when I went to the rehearsal. Amazing, really, for young children. But it's going to be amazing. And Yvonne and all the other ladies there who have spent many, many months making all the costumes. The state crown looks gorgeous.